In the heart of Scotland, where the mist dances over the ancient waters and the wind whispers through the heather-clad hills, lies a legend as old as time itself. Loch Ness, a lake of unfathomable depths, shrouded in mystery, its secrets buried beneath its cold, black surface. Some say it is nothing but a tale spun from fear and wonder. But others have seen it. The great beast that lurks in the abyss, waiting, watching, hunting. In the year 1897, as the world stepped into a new century, one man arrived seeking truth in the whispers. Sir Alistair MacGregor, a seasoned explorer and hunter of legends, came to Loch Ness not for fame, nor fortune, but for something far greater. He came to put an end to the terror that had gripped the Highland folk for generations. For the beast had awoken once more. The villagers spoke in hushed tones of shadows moving beneath the water, of boats vanishing without a trace, of a presence so old and vast that it defied understanding. Some believed it to be the spirit of the loch itself, a guardian turned vengeful. Others whispered of an ancient curse, a horror older than the very stones of Scotland. Alistair listened, his sharp mind piecing together the fragments of folklore and fear. He knew that myths were often born from truth. And so, with lantern in hand and determination in his heart, he set out to uncover the nightmare that lay beneath the surface. On the first night, he heard the whispers of the wind, the lapping of the waves against the shore, the eerie silence that followed. And then, a sound that chilled his very soul. A deep, guttural roar that seemed to rise from the depths of the underworld itself. The loch boiled, as though some ancient force stirred beneath. And then, he saw it. A monstrous shape, rising from the darkness. A serpent of unfathomable size, its scaled hide glistening under the moonlight, its long neck arching above the water like a specter of doom. Eyes like burning embers, watching, calculating. And then, it vanished. Alistair stood frozen, his breath caught in his throat. He had seen many creatures in his years of exploration, lions in Africa, tigers in India, the great bears of the north, but nothing compared to this. It was not merely an animal. It was something else. Something ancient. Something beyond the world of men. He knew, in that moment, that this was not a mindless predator. This was an intelligence as old as time, something that had survived the march of centuries, watching civilizations rise and fall. And now, it had turned its gaze upon him. The villagers, once skeptical, now trembled in fear. Livestock had begun to disappear, boats found capsized, their hulls splintered as if crushed by an unimaginable force. And then, it came for the village itself. One night, as the storm raged overhead, a terrible cry shattered the silence, a fisherman's hut, torn apart, its walls reduced to rubble. The people fled in terror as an enormous shadow loomed over the shore, its fiery eyes burning through the mist. Alistair knew he had little time. Armed with nothing but his harpoon, his wit, and an unwavering resolve, he set out into the darkness of the loch. He would not allow this horror to consume the land. He had faced death before, but never like this. Night fell heavy upon the waters, the mist thick like a veil between worlds. His boat cut through the black mirror of the loch, every ripple a whisper of the unseen. He felt the weight of countless eyes upon him, an unseen force pressing against his very soul. And then, it came. A shadow beneath him, a surge in the water. The beast struck with the force of a tidal wave, flipping the boat, dragging him into the abyss. The cold was unbearable, darkness swallowing him whole. The water pressed against his chest, a crushing silence broken only by the rhythmic pounding of his own heart. But through the murk, he saw it, jaws wide, rows of jagged teeth, eyes that glowed with primeval fury. Alistair grasped his harpoon, his mind racing. The beast circled him, slow and deliberate, as if testing him, measuring him. This was no mere act of hunger, this was a reckoning. With every ounce of strength left in him, he struck, once, twice, 3 times. The loch trembled, the beast roared, a sound that echoed through the ages. And then, silence. The waters churned, a vortex of chaos and violence. The beast writhed, its tail lashing like a whip, sending shockwaves through the depths. Alistair clung to a shard of his shattered boat, eyes locked with the monstrous gaze of his foe. It was not just a battle for survival, it was a war between the ancient and the new, between the past and the future. A sudden thought gripped him: this creature, this living fossil, had survived epochs, had endured the wrath of nature and time itself. What right did he have to destroy it? But the choice was no longer his. The beast lunged, jaws snapping shut inches from his face. With a final desperate strike, he drove the harpoon deep into the creature's throat. A howl split the air, a cry that shook the mountains themselves. The beast, its strength waning, gave one last defiant thrash before sinking into the darkness from whence it came. But as Alistair pulled himself from the water, gasping, shivering, something stirred beneath the loch's surface. A whisper, a presence, the sense that the battle was not over, merely postponed. The beast was but one of many. The curse of Loch Ness had not been vanquished, it had only just begun. Sir Alistair MacGregor left Loch Ness a changed man. The beast had been wounded, perhaps even slain. But legends do not die, they merely rest, waiting for the day they are called upon once more. And so, the loch remains. Silent. Watching. Waiting. And if one listens closely on a stormy night, when the wind howls through the glens, they say you can still hear it. The whisper of the beast of Loch Ness.